Welcome to another episode of Riding and Wrenching. I am your host, Q the Rider. And in today's episode, I'm going to share with you an exciting, awesome new upgrade I've done to my 2018 Harley Davidson Road Glide Ultra right here in Q's Busted Knuckle Garage. So let's get into it. I want to give a special thanks to the folks at AdvanBlack for providing me with a painted inner fairing. It is so awesome, as you can see on my bike here. Now, the 2018 Road Glides came with a flat black inner fairing. It matched nothing on my bike. Now, I am blacking my bike out. I could have left the flat black on there, but it just didn't look good. I actually think this looks extraordinary. So what I'm going to do in this video today, we're going to talk about the inner fairing. I'm going to show you some close-up shots. We're going to look at the fit and finish, the quality of the paint. I'm going to share with you one key difference I found between the OEM inner fairing and the inner fairing provided by AdvanBlack. I'm going to talk about their website a little bit and the different options that you have when you order painted parts from AdvanBlack. And we'll talk a little bit about the installation process. Now, I'm not going to do the install in this video. In this video, we're just going to talk about the inner fairing. I will be putting out a separate video in a couple of days, and that goes in detail over the install if you're interested in doing that. All right, so let's talk about the inner fairing. When you order it from AdvanBlack, it comes in three different pieces. You have the primary inner fairing here, which is the large part. There's a cap that goes up top here, a trim piece, and the speedometer housing. You know, they're each packaged individually. Now, in terms of fit and finish, it fits flawlessly and it looks really good. I think they did a fantastic job on the paint job. I don't see any flaws in the paint. It looks spectacular. Now, in terms of choosing the color, I kind of went back and forth over what color I should pick. Now, my 2018 comes at a two-tone paint job. It's called Wicked Red and Twisted Cherry. The bright red is called Wicked Red, and the darker red that's on the side of the tank and other parts of the bike, it's called Twisted Cherry. And that's what I chose to go with, the Twisted Cherry. Now, having installed the painted inner fairing, I'm kind of wishing that I had a Twisted Cherry tank console here, and I actually might do that because I think that'll look even sharper. It gives it a more custom look. But again, I'm super happy with it. One of the things that I learned about the inner fairing of the Road Glide during this install is on the inside here, there is a gap between the edge of the inner fairing and the glove box. I call this area the glove box. I don't know what the technical name for it is, but there's a gap all along the side of here. And what I learned is that that's to collect rainwater or any water that gets in it. It keeps it from getting inside of your glove box and keeps anything that you put in here dry. So the water kind of flows into these gaps along the side, and it comes out of the bottom of the inner fairing. That's something that's pretty neat. I didn't know that. The only difference I noticed between the stock inner fairing components and what was provided by AdvanBlack is in the glove box doors. And if you lift the glove box door of the AdvanBlack and compare it to the door of the OEM, you'll see the OEM has a lip around the inside of the door. The AdvanBlack door does not have that. It's smooth. But again, this water catch, I guess is what I'll call it, is again to divert the water away from the inside of your glove box. And I think that's the purpose of this lip. It's to help divert the water into this gutter, is what I guess I'll call it. Again, the AdvanBlack door doesn't have that. Now, I was a little concerned about that initially because I keep my cell phone and other things in here that I just as soon not get wet. And what I found during my test is there's no problem. It seems to be just fine. The AdvanBlack door is a little bit lighter. Cutting weight is never a bad thing, but the door functions the way it's supposed to. And I just don't see any issues there. Again, it looks good and it functions good. And I did a thorough water test with a water hose, shooting water directly on it. And all of my goods inside of my glove box stayed dry. So I was happy about that. That's literally the only difference I saw between the OEM and the new door from AdvanBlack. Now let's take a close look at the fit and finish, and you'll notice the line around here is very consistent and tight all the way around, and it's like that all around the inner fairing, or all around the fairing of the bike. It looks like it came from the factory like this. And again, everything looks super sharp. The speedometer and all of the housing here are fine. Again, the fit and finish is phenomenal. even here along the top where these two pieces come together, it's a very consistent line all the way around, and that's what you want, and that's the way it looked with the stock inner fairing. Now, I've done auto body work before where you install aftermarket body panels on a car, and sometimes you see unsightly gaps. I just love how consistent this is. It looks beautiful all the way around. All right, the next thing that I want to talk about is the installation. This is a do-it-yourself project. Now, there is a lot to it because you have to remove your outer fairing. And once you have the outer fairing removed, there's a number of wires, there's a wiring harness. All of that has to be disconnected. And there's, I think, 6 bolts that holds the inner fairing to the frame. You have to disconnect those and basically take all of the components that you see from the front of the inner fairing are physically attached to the inner fairing. So you're transferring all those components, the speakers, the glove box, the gauges, everything, the radio gets transferred from your stock inner fairing to your new painted inner fairing. There are a lot of steps, but you only need basic tools, organization, and confidence, and you can pull this project off by yourself. I would imagine a dealership would probably charge you probably 4 or more labor hours to do this job, even though you could probably do it in under 2. And I don't know for sure. I would touch base with a dealer and ask them if you're curious so that you can compare the cost of paying someone to do it versus doing it yourself. In terms of the tools, I used a pair of needle nose pliers. There are Torx bit screws that you have to use in a few places, as well as Allen. You need some Allen wrenches, and that's really it. And as long as you're organized, take your time, and take pictures along the way, it's a piece of cake. Probably the toughest thing is the wiring, because again, you have to disconnect everything. And if you take pictures, that helps you put it back together. But the good thing about the wiring connectors behind the fairing is that they only connect one place, so it's difficult to screw it up. It really is. Now, the other difference between my bike and a stock Road Glide is that I have a lot of custom dynamics lights, so that adds a lot more wiring, and that makes it even more important that you take pictures so that you remember where everything goes. And also, with all of the extra wiring that I have underneath my fairing due to the custom dynamics lights, there's a lot more connectors, and it could make it more challenging to get the outer fairing to fit properly. So you have to make sure that you get everything tucked away and that it's not blocking you from getting the inner or the outer fairing to sit properly. In terms of the inner fairing is actually the easiest part to reattach, because once you have it on, it really just slides into place and you just bolt it back in, and it's easy. So subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. The installation video will be out in a couple of days. Now, I chose this view because I wanted you to see what I see when I'm riding down the road. I absolutely love how my inner fairing looks. It's nice and shiny, it looks cool. I even like my black speaker grills. I might replace them with something a little bit snazzier, but I like the contrast in colors. I could get these painted to match. I don't know if AdvanBlack sells painted speaker grill covers, but I actually like black. I think I'm gonna leave those black the way they are. Something that I wish I thought about before I did the reinstall of the chrome rings. I'm removing all the chrome from my bike, and so these little chrome rings kind of throw off what I'm doing. It'd be nice if they had been black, but I'm just gonna live with it. And as I mentioned earlier, I kind of want my center console now to be the Twisted Cherry color. But in terms of color selection, my recommendation for you would be to choose the primary color of your bike. That's where everything flows through a little bit better. I was a little concerned about my color choice after I initially installed it, just because it's different from here to here. But just seeing it from different angles, this color it does appear in different parts of the bike. Now, the other thing to be aware of when you're adding painted components to your bike is that paint fades, or paint changes color over time. So the Twisted Cherry that you see on my new freshly painted inner fairing here is what the Twisted Cherry used to look like on my bike. Now mine is just a shade darker. So again, if you're going to add a painted part, just be aware that there might be some slight color variations. A safe choice for the inner fairing is a gloss black. Then you can't go wrong with that, because that would have also matched, because it would have matched my handlebars as well as my gloss black center console. You know, So there's a good case where maybe I should have done that. But I really, really like it. I think it looks fantastic, and I'm really happy with it. I want to thank the folks at AdvanBlack for providing me with this outstanding product. Please make sure you go to their website and check them out. They have, looks like every color Harley Davidson's ever put on a bike in recent years, and you can pick any color you want. And you're going to order these parts or order the interfering in different components. Again, it's a 3-piece kit, and you can pick any colors that you want. They also have other painted parts. They have tour packs and saddlebags and lower fairings. Because on my other bike, which I've yet to reveal on my channel, I am going to be adding some additional painted parts to that. And after seeing the quality that you get from AdvanBlack, I will likely be going back to them for that. So stay tuned for that. Again, like, subscribe to the channel. This is Q. I'm riding, I'm wrenching, and I am out.